Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm your host, the Game Master, and with me today is my husband.
Hey, everybody.
And today we're going to be talking about the Fantastic Four. But before we get into all of that, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notification, and as always, leave us a comment because that really helps out on our end and lets us know what you think. We've got a great community here, and it's all thanks to you guys. So thank you so much for being here. With all of that said, let's dive in. The prologue to this one takes place in the 1960s when the Fantastic Four are the first family in space. But when they go, they are bombarded by cosmic rays, causing them to mutate. Susan Storm becomes the Invisible Girl, Reed Richards becomes Mr. Fantastic, Johnny Storm becomes the new Human Torch, and Benjamin J. Graham becomes the Lumpy Thing. Later in his transformation, when it's complete, his flesh will be made of orange stone. But for right now, it isn't stone yet, just a tough hide like that of an elephant or maybe a dinosaur. No sooner have they gained their powers, the Fantastic Four face off against the malevolent Mole Man and win. The general public learns of their existence and they are celebrated as heroes. Which brings us to the main body of today's game, which takes place in November of 1961. The alien race, known as the Skrull, have finished a long and drawn out civil war, and the new emperor, Doric, orders four Skrulls to go to Earth. They do, and when they arrive, they learn of the Fantastic Four. So the Skrull set out to ruin their reputations. One Skrull assumes the appearance of Sue Storm, and to replicate her ability to become invisible, that Skrull shrinks down to the point where people don't anymore. She visits a jewelry store where she steals a diamond worth almost $10 million. A second Skrull pretends to be Reed Richards. He has all of Reed's powers, and it stretches its arms into a power plant, shutting down the main line of power to the city, causing a citywide blackout. The third Skrull shapeshifts to look like Johnny Storm and uses some high tech alien gadgets to mimic the things Johnny can do. He flies to the unveiling of a statue and melts it with his fire powers. And finally, the last Skrull disguises himself as the ever loving blue eyed thing, and he attacks an oil rig at sea. He swims out to the oil rig and then climbs up one of its legs. In the chaos, one man is able to radio for help, and this gets the attention of the real Fantastic Four before all of the rig workers are rounded up and tied up so that the fake thing can break open an oil pipe with the intention of causing a massive oil spill. So, Reed, having received this message, unveils a project he's been working on that isn't quite done yet. He calls it the Fantastic Car. And while it's functional, it is currently missing its outer panels. Nonetheless, since Ben Grimm is a hot headed pilot, he steals the gadget and uses it to fly to the oil rig, where he confronts the fake thing. So, Ben Grimm, what do you want to do?
Well, um, I can't help but think of the old G.I. Joe oil rig, the what do they call it? The mobile battle platform or whatever.
Yeah,
I know it's going to be laid out different, but like with that, there was like a helipad. Would it be safe to assume this thing has a helipad somewhere?
that is correct. It does have a helipad in order to receive. supply drops.
Okay. Um, so if there's nothing stopping me from doing it, I will land the Fantastic car on the helipad.
Okay. You
And
land
what?
this,
Oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
you land this weird looking flying car on the helipad.
Okay. Um, and when I'm coming in, I would like to just kind of look around. Which I guess I had to look around to figure out where the helipad was, but
Hmm.
if I know, like, if I know where the bad guy is, that would be ideal.
Okay. So I'm going to say that you probably circled this rig.
Sure.
You will see where he has men tied up with various ropes and cables that he could get his hands on. They're off to the side, out of his way, and he is, I don't want to say the center, but more if we put it in four squares, he's going to be in the northwest corner where there's pipes that are running down underwater.
Okay. So I would like to, on my turn, run over to where he is.
Hmm.
Um, al- Also, I noticed because I did read the first issue to kind of jog my memory,
Hmm.
and I noticed that kind of weird early on they don't give the thing like his famous blue trunks. He's just kind of
Mm,
wearing like these like brown, like I don't even know what to call them, like brown shorts basically.
yeah.
But I'll be wearing that, I guess, so that I look the part of the early thing.
Okay. Well, he's going to feel the metal deck plate shake as you're running. So let's roll initiative.
Okay.
I got a two.
I got a 5.
Awesome. You go first. So he
All
turns
right.
around, notices you, and bellows generically in bad guy and is starting to approach you as well. So you guys can meet in the middle.
I see. Well, I roll a 5 and a 10 for 15 and
All
punch
right.
him. And as I'm running up to him, if it's all right, I'd like to say, it's clobbering time.
You absolutely can. So let's see. Looking at the chart, a 15 is one column shift. So,
Should be 2,
mm,
right? Don't I need 11 to hit?
um,
And then 13 is the first column shift and 15 is the second one.
oh, okay. Yeah. I was looking at the
I'm
line
not trying
number.
to be rude or overstep my
No,
bounds
no,
or anything.
no. You're good. I was looking at the wrong line. Okay. So two column shifts.
I've looked at that table once or twice over the years.
A few times. Yeah.
A couple times, yeah.
All right. Well, you rolled two column shifts. So you have 6 points of damage on this guy. Let me make that mark down.
Sure.
All right.
So I
So
guess
on hit.
me, well, I was just gonna, I'm thinking, I don't think I have any turns left, right? So running at him is an automatic action,
Hmm.
talking is an automatic action, and then punching is a dice action. So I'm out. I was just
Yep.
thinking, okay, so that's it.
Uh, he's gonna yell, "Get off me, you ugly thing!" And no pun intended there. Uh, take a swing at you. He misses with a four, so he tries to swing and he overcompensates. So his shoulder is to you,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
That's cool. Um, so would it be safe to say that because he missed the roll, it meant that my natural agility meant I kind of backed up out of the way and
Yeah.
his momentum is carrying him like in front of me there?
Yep.
Um, all right. So I guess as he's doing that, um, because my understanding is that Ben Grimm is actually supposed to be a really good fighter.
Yes.
So I'm gonna bring up my, like, I'm imagining him from my field of vision moving from left to right.
Yep.
So I want to bring up my right knee into his face,
Oh,
like boom, and like I
that'll
want to kind
work.
of move my hips where I'm dropping the left hip and raising the right hip, and I want to bring it so it's not. I don't want to be an uppercut to the chin. I want the knee to be like in front of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Coming right at him the opposite way.
All
And for
right.
my automatic action, I'm going to be like, yeah, well, I don't like your ugly mug either. And then crack him one with the knee. So I
All
need to
right.
roll.
Roll to hit.
Yes. A 9 and a 7, 16.
Oof. Okay, so that is 2 column shifts.
Probably another 6 points of damage. I think I just
It,
knocked him out.
you did. You get him in the nose, and he does the um comical thing where he like head jerks back, he stumbles, and then he just drops out
Okay.
cold. So, we are now out of initiative. You have a bunch of guys who are tied up off to the side, but you also have a pipe that has been burst open over to your left.
Okay. So that's going to be the priority.
Okay.
Um, I I guess I don't quite understand visually what I'm seeing, but if there's a thing that's readily apparent that makes this stop, I would do it. Like if there's like one of those big steering wheel things that you crank it and it
Yes.
closes a valve, or whatever it is I got to do.
There is a red uh, steering wheel, as you call it, big metal one. Above it says emergency shut off.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. You stop the flow of the oil as it's spilling out, closing the valve. Uh,
Can I
so
can I
there,
just interject one little thing?
sure.
I feel like every time I say the word thing, it's a pun here. I'm not trying to
I
make
know, right?
puns. Actually, I wanted to do like a character moment,
Okay.
to role play him. Um, like the last thing I said was, "I don't like your ugly mug either," right?
Yeah.
And then like when I'm walking over to this pipe to shut it off, I just want to kind of like say sort of to myself, like how Spider-Man talks to himself, it just
Mm-hmm.
seems to me to be classic Marvel. I want to be like say something like, "In fact, I hate it." Or what,
Oh,
it's that because he's very self-hating, like the accident
yeah.
just happened and he hates being the thing. So
And it's
I just
terrible
want to be
because he's,
dwelling on it, and like
yeah,
I'm not just smack talking because it's a fight. Like I genuinely
yeah,
hate it having to look at that face.
terrible
Yeah,
because he is by far my favorite of the Fantastic Four. But go
same,
ahead.
same. No, that's it. I just wanted to, that's the personality, so I wanted to give it a minute to
All
do it
right.
right, And I'll
Yeah.
go over after I do that, I'll go over to these guys and I'll say, "It's all right. I'm not here to hurt you," or whatever, I'll say it in that kind of Brooklyn
All right.
thing, and then
Um,
I'll untie these guys.
the
And actually,
foreman,
did you
what?
say earlier that they were tied up with like, well, what are they tied up with?
Some of them were tied up in groups with rope. Some of them had a thick cable wrapped around them.
Okay. I want to use this cable then. Ask him if it's okay if I borrow this to
The
tie up the bad guy.
Yep, the foreman will say there's a big old spool of it right over there. You're free to use whatever you want.
Thanks, buddy. And I'm gonna go over and I don't want to just tie him like, how Wonder Woman like lassos a person and it's just a
Yeah.
single strand of rope kind of around their, elbow height,
Yep.
I don't want to do that. I want to do more like a mummy kind of a thing. Like I want to start like at the shoulders, I guess, and work my way all the way down, like so that
Oh
he's
yeah.
less likely to burst out of it or whatever if he wakes up.
Okay.
And I mean that's kind of it. I'll throw him in the car wherever there's room, and I'll go back to the Fantastic Four headquarters.
Okay. As you get back, Reed Richards is trying to radio you to tell you to bring it back. But you show up and you have this guy in custody. as our epilogue, the news crews who were called out to cover this incident will have CCTV coverage, really old, grainy coverage that they have of the cameras on the rig. And they'll say, this thing uh, came aboard, damaged a bunch of equipment. But then another thing, a good one, had come in, taken out the bad guy, freed us, shut off the valve, and took off without asking for anything in return. So the people who are there being interviewed are singing your praises, and the uh, lady doing the interview, the reporter, will end by saying, to whoever you are, thank you. This is Rachel Adams for WYNT signing off. And that
Okay.
concludes our game. So if you have enjoyed this game, which I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed running it, uh, again, please consider leaving us a comment, hitting the like button, the subscribe, ringing the bell for notification, and leave us a comment because we love reading them. As always, from everybody here at the world's longest running superhero game on Earth, we thank you for taking this ride with us and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great one.